Hey guys, welcome to today's video. So we are diving right on in today because we've already got a ton of new, delicious, affordable makeup both online and at the drugstore that we need to test out. And I'm here to investigate what is right for you. We've got a new L'Oreal primer. We have new foundations. We have these beautiful new color correctors from e.l.f., new setting powders, as well as a ton of other affordable makeup that just stopped me in my tracks at the drugstore side of Ulta, online. So today, just sit back, relax, grab yourself coffee. There certainly isn't wine in here, as we put all this new makeup to the test to help you level up your makeup game for the new year. So let's get started. Today's video is brought to you by HelloFresh. One of the hardest parts about being an adult is planning meals every single day. I wish I could go back in time and make my 12-year-old self more grateful to my mom because I don't know how she did it. With the busy new year underway and grocery store prices increasing more than ever, HelloFresh is here to help. Casey and I love cooking, but when we have nothing planned, we end up spending money on takeout, which adds up quick. HelloFresh is cheaper than the grocery store and 25% cheaper than takeout. So getting to skip the grocery store and take control of our time and budget with delicious recipes delivered right to our door gets us very excited. Burgers are probably one of our favorite things in the world, so of course he picked the Firehouse Burger for our dinner tonight. Eat well and save money this year with HelloFresh. It's fast, easy, and affordable to whip up restaurant quality meals right in your own kitchen, and having everything planned this easily actually makes us excited for dinner the next night. Whether your New Year's goal was to stress less about meal planning or eat healthier, with over 35 weekly recipes, HelloFresh has the options you're looking for to achieve those goals. And rest assured, you are always getting top quality with HelloFresh. Ingredients travel from the farm to you in less than 7 days. So you know that's fresh. Choose calorie smart or carb smart recipes, or even customize select meals by swapping proteins or sides, upgrading your proteins, or adding proteins to veggie dishes. My life truly revolves around food, and not having to stress about it makes it even better. Casey is definitely more of the chef between us, and this is only one of the millions of reasons I am very excited to marry this man. You can head to HelloFresh.com and use promo code JohnnyRoss21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. That's promo code JohnnyRoss21 in all caps for 21 free meals and free shipping at HelloFresh.com. People are always asking me for the best, just affordable, neutral palette for every day, and I cannot recommend Moira Cosmetics enough. This one we're using today is the Chasing Eternity palette, and it is just an awesome, neutral, everyday eyeshadow palette. And there are so many versions of this eyeshadow palette, from cool tone to fun color stories. So even though this one isn't necessarily new, it's affordable, it's amazing. So this is what we're gonna use today. Partnered with something that is a little bit newer. These are their Diamond Days liquid eyeshadows. These are the best liquid eyeshadows in the game. So let's go ahead and start out with the shade Fancy in our crease as our transition shade. Still have the plastic on, little ASMR moment. Oh, that's so satisfying. I just think at this price point, you can't beat these eyeshadow palettes because, to be honest, drugstore eyeshadow is probably the most difficult category to find something good, and I think I've spent money on drugstore brands before, and the eyeshadow just isn't up to snuff, and a lot of the times it's not that affordable. Like, I picked up a Revlon little quad the other day because the shadows looked nice, and I think it was like over $10 for 4 shadows. They're not great compared to all of these shadows for $17, so you just can't go wrong. Now with the same brush, I'm gonna deepen up the crease a little further with the shade Goddess. And I'm keeping this a little bit lower than the shade we just did. So I'm running it through the crease exactly how we did the first one, but I'm not gonna bring it as high up. Out of all the palettes I got from Moira, I wanted to do a more neutral look so you guys could get an idea of what you could do on an everyday basis. Because even though we are going to put on the glitter eyeshadow, you can stop this eyeshadow look at any point of the process and just honestly wear it as is. That's the beauty of using neutral eyeshadow colors like this. Now I'm gonna go in with this darker brown in Limitless, and I popped on a little Scotch tape, my little Scotch tape hack, because listen, I'm in a rush today. I have a podcast to record after this. I ain't looking to mess things up, so it's foolproof. And the reason I popped this on is because I'm almost gonna place this like a wing liner, and I just want the tape to give me a nice little barrier so I don't have to worry about getting the angle right out of the gate. And see how I'm just smudging this along the lash line. And with the same brush I used For the first two shades, I'm just gonna take it into the crease and the outer corner of the lid a little bit. And now I'm just taking a clean, fluffy blending brush to soften the edge of that top there. And now I'm just taking a fluffy, clean blending brush to soften the edge of that brown and marry everything together. So even though we are gonna go in with the liquid shadows, I just wanna swatch one of the shimmer formulas for you. We're gonna go in with Bliss right here, this beautiful gold. I mean, just look at that right away. And I'm gonna place this on the inside of my lid. Now I'm gonna go in with the Diamond Days liquid shadow. I am using the shade Sending Me, and these, for the price, are the best liquid eyeshadows I've ever used. One swipe coverage, beautiful shimmer, gorgeous formula, sets at the perfect time where you can still blend it out but then dries down completely without cracking, flaking, and comes in a zillion colors. All right, eyes are done, and now we're gonna go in with liner. This is the new NYX Vivid Matte Liquid Eyeliner. I believe they had this before, discontinued it, and came back with a new formula. Eyeliners like this scare me because I'm so shaky. Another reason, hence the tape. But oh god, okay, let's see. Can I do this? The other reason I really wanted to try this is I love a matte eyeliner. I just think it looks a lot cleaner. Eyeliners that dry down with a sheen to them tend to catch the light when people are looking at you, and it just looks a little messy. Compared to a liquid liner that dries down super matte, it just hides texture, looks super clean, ultra black. Okay, that was easier than I thought. I really like how thin this tip is. I mean, it is micro small, but the formula is that perfect consistency where it's not too liquidy that it's settling into lines and bleeding, making a mess. It really lets you just put it where you want. It's also not too stiff that it's dragging, like too dried out. It's a really nice formula. So this, easier than I thought. This is dope. Now I just want to tight line my upper lid, and I picked up, this is from LA Girl Perfect Precision Pencil. I love the lip liners from this brand, so I figured I would try the eyeliner just to see if it's as good. But obviously with eyeliner, we really want to make sure this isn't going to transfer down. So I start with my eyes anyway, so by the end of doing this look, I should be able to tell whether this is transferring down to my lower lash line. Wow, yeah, the formula of this is just as good as the lip liners, which we'll be using one of those later. It glides on like a dream, super creamy, really adheres to that tight line up there. This is good so far, but let's see and make sure it doesn't bleed. All right, the eyes are done. I popped on a little half lash on each side, but we're gonna start priming the skin. This is from L'Oreal, part of their new Prime Lab series, and I picked up the pore minimizing one. That is what the texture looks like. It's very unique. Anything to minimize these pores, so I'm really hoping this just slays. Oh wow, so it's not like a silicone feel at all. It feels really hydrating, really smooth, almost like a gel moisturizer kind of a consistency. It more feels like it's giving me this really nice second skin. Obviously, we'll be able to tell after our foundation and at the end of the routine, but so far, I'm liking the way this is feeling. Now for the new e.l.f. color correctors. We have the green for redness, we have the peach for the under eyes, and then we have a darker orange. This is perfect for 5 o'clock shadow on someone like me, or if you have darker skin, a darker complexion, or darker circles. You want to go darker, the darker your skin tone is, or the darker circles are. And then they came out with a blue one, which I think is awesome. I'm probably gonna make a dedicated short about this. Basically, this is for if your foundation is too yellow or too warm, this blue will counteract it and actually cool it down and make it match you more. So if like you have a summer foundation shade that doesn't really work for you right now because you're a little bit paler or less olive toned, that will correct it. But I'll make a separate short all about that. But I've already been playing with this formula, and I gotta tell you, these are breathtaking. The camo line from e.l.f. is amazing. It's truly never disappointed me. And the green is just perfect for redness, so you can dot a little around. Color correcting is all about color theory, so anything across from each other on the color wheel is gonna cancel each other out. Red and green are across from each other, so green is gonna get rid of redness, but this formula is just so creamy, melts into the skin. A lot of color correctors are very heavy, but these have a beautiful, almost foundation-y, creamy finish to them, but not compromising their coverage. So you can see already how much that toned down all of my redness. But even if you just want to one and done it, take down your redness, you can mix a little of this into your moisturizer for the day, a little bit, mix it up, put your moisturizer on, and it will generally just tone down all of the redness. Now I'm going to use the peach on my 5 o'clock shadow just to hide this darkness and discoloration from my beard, and a little bit on the under eyes. The theory behind this is that darkness under the eyes or a 5 o'clock shadow are bluish tones. So again, orange cancels out blue, so that's why this works so well well at color correcting that blueness, which makes you end up having to go in with less concealer under the eyes and not letting your 5 o'clock shadow or darkness or any dark sunspots you have bleed through your foundation throughout the day. So look how much more even our skin tone is before we've even done foundation. Now for the new NYX Bare With Me Blur Skin Tint. I had to pick up another shade because I bought the lighter shade before I self-tanned, so it's a little light for me now, so I am gonna be mixing. This is the texture of it. It's much more of a whipped, almost moussey kind of finish. It's not too watery or runny. So this claims to have a little bit more of a matte finish, so I anticipate this being a little bit better for people with combination or oily skin. Just gonna dot a little bit around and go ahead and blend this in with my foundation brush. It's blending really beautifully, and I'm immediately surprised at how emollient and blendable it is, because I know a lot of matte formulas can tend to be a little bit draggy or clingy, like they just don't spread that liquidy or feel that hydrating, but this is blending really beautifully. I've used this once or twice just like guy makeup, super lightweight, and it wore very beautifully, but I was dying to know how this would look with a full face of makeup, and this looks really pretty. I can even tell it was blurring as it was drying down on my hand, if that makes sense. It definitely gives more of a matte finish. There's no glow to this at all. So like I said, I really do think this is gonna be better for people with combination and oily skin. Now to contour a bit, I'm gonna go in with these relatively new. These are the Milani Conceal and Perfect. They came out with color correctors, contours, and highlighters. And honestly, this is a complete dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury and Tarte ones you see going around everywhere. I've used this before, and let me tell you, save your money. You do not need to get the Charlotte Tilbury or the Tarte, because these blend like a dream. The colors are beautiful. This is in the shade Toffee, cool tone enough that they just give that nice sculpted contour look to the skin. But just look how beautifully that blended out. I'm gonna do a little underneath the cheekbone. This is one of the Morphe Ariel brushes, by the way, stippling brush. I love this one for contouring, and a little bit on the jawline, and I'm just gonna go back and forth and blend this down. But look how easy that was, and look at the difference between these sides. The warmth versus not. You don't need to spend a lot of money. All right, now it is time to battle it out between our two new drugstore concealers. So we have the Revolution IRL Filter Finish and the Essence Keep Me Covered. I'm using my favorite beauty sponge for this. This is the Camo Concealer Sponge from e.l.f. It is so awesome, and this is damp. I wet this and wrung it out, and it just fits under the eye perfectly. So the Revolution is on this side. Okay, wow, that blended out very fast. I'm gonna blend this out with a brush because I can tell already this one's only giving light to maybe medium coverage, and a brush will give me a little bit more coverage. Like you can see my vein there still peeking through. This is definitely a lighter formula. Now the Essence on this side, using the other side of my beauty sponge. I could tell just by playing with these that the Essence run a little bit warmer, where the IRL gives a lot more options for nice neutral tones. Now for the second batch, I'm gonna do the same thing. Just blend this with my brush. It's much brighter. And even though this was more yellow, it's working for me. It really did adjust a bit. They both look very hydrating. They didn't enhance texture. Now we're gonna set everything with our new translucent powder. So we have the Milani Conceal and Perfect, and we have the Revolution IRL powder. I was really excited when I bought the IRL powder because I thought it was only a loose, but when I open this up, it also comes with a pressed powder. So right out of the gate, she's squeaking ahead. Clean powder puff, dipping into the Milani, but I'm just gonna work it into the skin to make sure that it's evenly deposited. And now we're gonna go ahead and set this side. This is the Milani set. I'm not noticing much blurring, and I gotta say the yellowish tone, even though this is translucent, definitely did take some of my highlight away. Switching to a clean puff, dipping into the IRL from Makeup Revolution. This is the Revolution side set. Immediately, I'm noticing that this is more blurring. This erased my pores where this didn't. It's a much more finely milled powder. This is kind of reminding me of my Holy Grail Yuma Beauty Trip and Smooth powder. Like, that's how smooth this made my under eye look. And because it's a true translucent, it didn't take away any of my highlight. And honestly, because I'm liking this better, I think I'm gonna use the press side to set the rest of the complexion, because I really like the way the Revolution side looks. Wow, that set everything beautifully. It's not enhancing any dryness dryness. Now for a new powder foundation, this is the new Juvia's Place powder foundations. I love powder foundations right before I go in with my powder, bronzer, and blush because I think it just does a little bit to perfect the skin a little bit more. Or if you have pores or texture or problem areas where the foundation is not really sticking to the skin, this just adds that really beautiful second little oomph of coverage, smooths out that dryness and texture. This is a little bit more of a matte formula. I would say, again, if you're combo and oily, I think this is gonna be a little bit better for you. If you're drier, I would go with the ColourPop foundation powder or the One Size foundation powder. And if you have mature skin, the Laura Geller baked foundation powders are to die for. They have a beautiful creamy baked luminosity to them and they just look stunning on mature skin. Now we're trying this new Pixie Sugar Blossom palette. We have 2 blushes and 2 highlighters, a champagne and a pink. I was just playing around and this is a complete dupe for the Haus Labs Rose Quartz highlighter. So this over here is the Haus Labs and then this is the blush and highlighter layered from Pixie. Not only is it almost exact, you're getting more options to kind of build your own blush and highlight opposed to only having a highlight. And if you want to use this as a blush topper, for some people with texture, they can't put highlighter on as a blush topper. So here is the blush in the shade Sugar. Are you kidding? Stunning. And now our pinky highlighter in Rosewood. Come on, girl, don't disappoint. This literally is a dupe for this if you split this into a highlighter and blush. I'm obsessed. I'm actually gonna use a little of that champagne to highlight my inner corner. Hi. All right, now to finish up the under eyes, I'm gonna go back into the shade Goddess, and I'm gonna run this along the lower lash line, pretty much all the way in, because this is just one of the lighter transition colors. And now I'm just gonna take a little bit more of the darker Limitless shade, that dark brown, and this I'm only gonna apply real close to the lash line on the outer half, just like that. Okay, now for lips, I'm going in with my favorite drugstore lip pencils. These are the LA Girl Precision Lip Pencils. And now I'm gonna go in with one of the Maybelline vinyl inks. So these aren't new themselves, but this color is new. They just came out with like twice as many colors, and this is in the shade Captivate. This is the one that if you shake it well, it gives you a glossy formula, but letting it dry down, this won't transfer at all. And that is stunning. It definitely is more warm tone, so I would really only pair this with like a warmer tone look, but you want to not really touch the lips together for a little bit while the formula dries down. And lastly, we have this new NYX The Brow Glue, and the reason this caught my eyes, because not only obviously is it a brow glue, but it's tinted, and I feel like it's really hard to find both together. Normally, brow glues are clear, and then tinted brow gels don't have much hold to them, so I'm kind of hoping that this does both. I really like this small little applicator on this, like it is super mini. No new setting spray, so I'm just gonna use one that I know and love. Let that set in and dry down. All right, so the makeup is finished. I even took a little break and ate dinner. I ate lasagna, which was brave. But I wanted to give everything a couple hours to just set in to really see the wear of everything. So let's do a little rapid fire roundup to see what were the hits and what were the misses. First off, the NYX Bear With Me Blurring Skin Tint. Building this up to a kind of full makeup look. I'm not loving the way this is like already creasing a little bit. I feel like it's like almost completely coming off my nose. I really had to touch up after I was done eating. This is just gonna be a pass for me because I think there is better formulas, like the new Revlon Color Stay for oily and combination skin. I just think that one looks a little prettier, wears a little bit better. The L'Oreal primer, love. This made my skin feel so nice. Anything that gives that really beautiful, just blurred smoothness to the skin without that heavy silicone feeling is a plus for me. And this has AHA, LHA, and BHA, so this will actually smooth the skin over time and help the pores because there's good skincare ingredients in this. So this I love. The Juvia's Place foundation powder, I really enjoy this. But again, I really only think this would be best for people with combination and oily skin because it is a little bit more on the matte side. All of our eye products, I'm telling you, Moira Cosmetics, this, look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. Nothing has faded. Everything looks absolutely beautiful. The mattes and the shimmers blend like a dream. The liquid eyeshadows are literally the best on the market. I'm not even exaggerating. Based on anything I've ever used, they're just stunning. And I've had this on for the longest out of anything because I start with my eyes and I have no creasing, no fallout from the shimmer. You gotta get your hands on these. The e.l.f. color correctors, love. Like I said in the beginning, I've been playing with these already and the formula of these is just beautiful. Anything by this like camo line that they come out with just blends like a dream. It is so creamy. It doesn't affect the way your foundation looks underneath it. A lot of color correctors are very thick and heavy, and these just blend like butter. So any of these color correctors are bomb. I've even played around with the blue one, but like I said, I'm going to do a dedicated short explaining how the blue one works, but you can't go wrong with any of those. The Milani Liquid Contour, love it. Used it for a couple weeks now. This is to die for. You saw how beautiful it looks on the skin. Save your money on the expensive ones. This is exactly the same. The Maybelline Vinyl Ink Lipsticks. I'm obsessed with these. You see this, I ate lasagna and it's still on. I put actually a very deep red one on my stepmom for a wedding and it lasted the entire night. It looked absolutely stunning, especially if you want something super long wearing but has that glossy, like hydrating finish to it. If you're not a liquid lipstick person like me, because it really dries down and looks super dry and cracky, these stay glossy, look hydrating, but don't transfer at all. So those are a huge love it. The LA Girl lip liner, I've loved this forever. You can't go wrong with any of them. There's so many beautiful shades and they're $2.99. But I gotta say, the eyeliner, love. I have had this on now for a couple hours and I put in eye drops twice because my contacts always get fuzzy when I film and I have zero black on my under eyes. So this little star of the show here. Now between our concealer battle, this is a little tougher because to be honest with you, neither one has crease despite using different powders. It more comes down to the issue of preference. I think the Revolution IRL concealer is a little bit more hydrating. The colors are a little bit better if you have pink or neutral undertones. It was less yellow than the Essence. I think this would be beautiful for anybody. If you have mature skin, however, I would say still stick with the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer. That is the greatest when it comes to mature skin for me. But for everybody else, oily, dry, and combo, this is really beautiful. It's more a question of the undertone. And keep in mind that this does give lighter coverage. You see how it, you know, kind of just brightens my under eye. It's still pretty beautiful, but it is more of a sheer to medium coverage. Where the Essence, these run warmer. So if you have a yellow undertone or an olive undertone, I think you would love this. And this one is definitely more of a solid medium to full buildable coverage. And again, it looks really beautiful, hydrating. So I think this would look beautiful on any skin type as well. It's more just an issue of coverage and undertone. Now between the powder battles, the Revolution and the Milani, I gotta give it to the Revolution. I think the Milani, I didn't see much blurring at all. And this very yellowy undertone really took my highlight away. It's not something I would reach for. And to be honest, the way it didn't blur, I would be nervous to bake with this or carve out contour with this because I think this is gonna look a little bit heavier on the skin. Where the Revolution, this just was rivaling my Yuma Beauty Trip and Smooth powder, which is the most finely milled powder I've ever used. It blurred my texture absolutely beautifully. I baked with this and it looked gorgeous when I dusted it away. It didn't give any powdery, heavy appearance to the skin. I think this would be gorgeous on all skin types, including mature, because of that super finely milled aspect. And to seal the deal, you're getting two powders in one. You have the pressed powder and then you have the loose powder on the bottom. So the Revolution is the winner for me. Now for this NYX brow glue, I've let this set for a couple hours now and I like the color it adds, but it is a very soft set. My brows don't feel super stuck in place like the way they would with maybe my Got2b brow glue, the Benefit or the Milani clear brow gel or the e.l.f. clear brow gel. I just sadly wanted this to be a tinted brow glue that was actually also going to tint and hold my brows in place, but I don't think this is doing much for holding my brows in place, so this is gonna be a pass for me. And lastly, out of everything new I tried, this was the last thing I thought was going to be my number one from this video. The Pixie Blush and Highlighter Palette, this is stunning. You see this on the cheeks. Like I said, this is a complete dupe for the Haus Labs Rose Quartz highlighter, but it's like breaking it up into two products where you're getting the blush and highlight, but combining them is exactly the same as the Haus Labs. It just looks so beautiful on the skin. This is the pinky highlight and the blush, and I used the champagne highlight to highlight my inner corners. This is just dope. I was not expecting to be so blown away by this. So yeah, guys, that is it. Let me know down in the comment section any of this stuff that you are excited to try. I love finding new drugstore makeup. I'm sorry, I just think drugstore makeup is like incredible. I really don't think there is much not at the drugstore that is any better than anything you can find at the drugstore. So even though we are so soon into 2023, we already have some amazing new drugstore launches. As always, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you are already subscribed, hit the little notification bell and you'll be notified every single time I post. I upload new makeup and comedy videos every single day, and I'm launching a brand new podcast called Beautiful and Bothered, premiering on January 16th. Wherever you guys are, I hope you are happy, safe, and healthy. I love you, and I will see you on the next video. Bye, guys.